The tires of my beat-up Toyota crunch against the driveway gravel as I drag myself home after another brutal A shift. 12 hours of chaos, 3 cardiac arrests, a terrified child with a fractured arm, and one lunatic who managed to swallow his dentures. My scrubs reek of antiseptic and stale sweat, and my bones beg for nothing more than a hot shower and 8 hours of oblivion. The evening sun bleeds gold across our Portland suburb, throwing everything into a soft, deceptive calm. Across the street, Mrs. Patterson hoses her beloved dahlias. She lifts her fragile hand in greeting, and I manage a weary smile. But as my gaze drifts back to my house, something claws at my gut, the curtains. The living room windows are bare. I blink hard. Mom must have yanked them down for another one of her obsessive cleaning marathons. She always scrubs harder when Dad's made another one of his brilliant investments. Shaking it off, I hoist my backpack and trudge up the walkway. The chipstone gnome still grins by the steps, mocking me. I dig for my keys, unlock the door, and step inside. My footsteps echo back at me. Too loud, too empty. Mom? My voice ricochets through bare walls. Dad? Nothing. The living room is a hollow shell. The sofa gone. The coffee table gone. The ceramic birds Mom used to obsess over gone. Not even Brandon's hideous recliner remains. A cold ripple climbs my spine as I search room by room. Kitchen empty. Dining room empty. Upstairs bedroom stripped bare. Even my childhood room, with the pencil marks charting my growth, is gutted. The bathroom cabinet where I stashed tampons and Advil emptied. They've taken everything. Every last trace of my life. Back at the entryway, something glows under the fading light. A single white envelope, dead center on the hardwood. My hands tremble as I tear it open. One sheet of paper. Mom's rushed handwriting. Thanks for fixing our credit, loser. We're moving to Texas with Brandon. Don't call. My knees buckle. The hardwood bites into me as nausea churns in my gut. Abandoned. Robbed. Erased. My phone vibrates. A text. Congratulations on the successful listing of your property at 4217 Oakwood Lane, closing within 30 days. The walls close in. They're selling my house. My house. 7 months ago, I was sleeping in my car after Brian threw me out like trash. 3 years together, and he left me on the curb with nothing. I fought my way back, scraping every dollar for a new start. And then Mom called sobbing, desperate. We're going to lose the house. She cried at 2 a.m. Your father, he made some bad investments. We owe $325,000. That house wasn't just wood and nails, it was childhood itself. The backyard where Dad taught me to catch a ball. The kitchen where Mom showed me her apple pie recipe. The staircase lined with family photos. Gone. What about Grandma's inheritance? I demanded. Dead silence. The money Brandon and I were supposed to share? The money that magically disappeared into his failed spar? Mom's whisper slithered through the phone. It's gone. Rage had burned through me that night. But I swallowed it. I couldn't let them lose everything. I'll fix it, I swore. So I worked until my feet swelled and my spine screamed. Double shifts. Maxed out credit cards. No dentist, no real meals, just ramen and caffeine. Every penny funneled into saving them. Meanwhile, their Facebook lit up with champagne toasts and smiling selfies. Family triumphs over financial struggle. Mom wrote beneath a picture of them feasting. They threw me a dinner as a thank you. I sat at that table, exhausted and hollow, while they toasted Brandon's next big idea as if his last failure hadn't torched Grandma's money. That's when it hit me like a defibrillator jolt to the chest. I gave them everything. And they erased me. That night, while they laughed, I stayed up until dawn, digging through property rights, foreclosure laws, and loopholes, calling the family lawyer in secret. Because if they thought they could rob me blind and vanish into the Texas sunset, they had no idea what kind of war they had just started. Asterisk that night, I finally made my move. I slid the refinancing paperwork across the table, heart pounding. Hidden among the legal jargon was a quitclaim deed one signature away from putting the house in my name. Mom's eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering. Why does this feel off? For tax purposes, I lied smoothly, forcing calm into my voice. It's temporary. You'll get it back once things settle. She hesitated, pen hovering in midair. Dad shifted impatiently beside her, muttering about deadlines. At last, Mom nodded and signed. Just don't forget to transfer it back, she warned. Of course, I said, masking the venom behind my smile. Never. Now. Sitting cross-legged on the bare hardwood of my gutted house, that forged moment feels reckless and brilliant. They thought they were clever, trying to sell my home out from under me. But I outplayed them before they even set their plan in motion. My phone buzzes. A text from Brandon. Mom says you're being dramatic again. I stare at his words, the bile rising in my throat. Dramatic? They strip me of everything I own, everything but the scrubs clinging to my back. The last rays of sunlight vanish, plunging the house into shadow. I sit there, alone, the darkness pressing in. But inside me, something colder, harder begins to form. A blade forged from betrayal. This house is mine. And they've made a fatal mistake. The next morning, pale light filters through the empty windows. I sit on the floor, surrounded by scattered papers, piecing together the puzzle of their lies. Sleep had come in restless fragments, most of it in the cramped backseat of my Toyota, because even my own home felt too hollow to hold me. But now I'm ready to understand everything. I sift through a pile of neglected mail. Bills in their names, meaningless junk flyers, then a thick envelope marked Bayview Realty. My stomach knots as I rip it open. Final contract and closing instructions. The blood drains from my face. The contract was signed 3 weeks ago, while I was working overnight shifts, while I brought them groceries on my rare days off, while they smiled to my face and told me things were getting better. My phone buzzes again. A Facebook notification. Mom single quotes as latest post freezes my blood. She's grinning beside Dad and Brandon in front of a modest ranch house. Arms linked like a perfect postcard. Family. New beginnings in the Lone Star State. Finally free. Caption followed by Texas flag emojis. The timestamp, 4 hours ago. My hand trembles as I swipe. Brandon, smug as ever, dangling a shiny set of keys. Relatives and old family friends crowd the comment section, showering them with congratulations. They don't see the knife buried in my back, but the contract in my hand tells the truth. Listing price, $450,000. Down payment, $10,000 already secured. Closing scheduled in 1 week, nearly double what I spent breaking myself to save this house. Money they plan to pocket, while I'm left with nothing. You absolute vultures, I whisper, my voice cracking through the silence. I spread the papers across the floor, building a timeline of their betrayal. Dad, once a respected accountant, spiraled into gambling 5 years ago. Uncle Greg covering for him with his tired excuse, Jack's just on a bad streak. Mom, addicted to appearances, redecorating the living room 3 times in a single year while drowning in debt. Her social media, a curated museum of lies, each post more staged than the last. And Brandon. My gut twists at his name. The golden child. The one who could do no wrong. His failed sports bar venture devoured Grandma's inheritance whole, and yet, in their eyes, he was still finding his path. Meanwhile, I was working 60-hour weeks, patching broken bodies at the hospital, while my own family carved me open without anesthesia. My phone buzzes again. A text from Mara, Brandon's girlfriend. Is it true you're homeless now? Brandon says you're just being dramatic about the move. I let out a slow, bitter laugh that tastes like ashes. Dramatic? No, not dramatic. Deadly serious, and they're about to find out. Asterisk before I can even respond to Brandon's smug text. Another message lights up my screen. This one from Jennifer, my colleague in the Alaj, heard what happened. Spare room's yours if you need it. No rush to leave. The kindness slams into me harder than the betrayal ever did, breaking something open. My throat burns, tears threatening to spill. When a sudden knock rattles the front door, I freeze. Mrs. Patterson stands on the porch, silver hair glinting in the morning sun. In her hands, a small cardboard box. Her expression is tight, disapproving. I saw them loading the truck at midnight, she says flatly. Told everyone you approved the sale. Said you'd be moving to Texas with them next month. My stomach twists. She presses the box into my hands. I've lived here 30 years, Hallie. I know when something doesn't smell right. Inside are family photos rescued, she explains. When she caught Brandon tossing them into a donation bin like garbage. The realtor called me this morning, she adds, voice sharp with conviction. Wanted to confirm details about your family. I told her she should speak with you directly. As if conjured by her words, my phone rings. Unknown number. This is Bayview Realty, a clipped voice says. There's a discrepancy with the title. According to county records, the property was transferred solely to Hallie Cruz 7 months ago. The current sellers are not listed on the deed. Air floods my lungs. Relief so sharp it hurts. The deed worked. The house is mine, but the reprieve is short-lived. Another buzz. A voicemail this time. My father's voice fills the empty room, thick with alcohol and rage. You'd better not screw this up for us. We need that money. After everything we've done for you, you owe us. Delete, no hesitation. My hands no longer shake. The line between family and enemy is gone. That evening, Jennifer shows up with takeout, an air mattress, and the kind of hug that dares you to crumble. Just until you're steady again, she says, inflating the mattress in my strip bedroom. Later, lying in the dark, the house groans and settles around me. Familiar sounds from childhood now hollow, alien. This emptiness should break me. Instead, I feel something calcify inside. Concrete setting where weakness used to be. They thought they'd sell my home, vanish with the cash, and leave me in ruins. Instead, I hold the one card they didn't know existed. Tomorrow, I begin rebuilding, not furniture, not curtains, but boundaries. Walls higher and thicker than this house has ever had. This home is mine. Truly mine. And they've made a grave mistake. A week later, my phone chimes for the 8th time that day. Brandon again. Mom's having anxiety attacks because of you. Fix this. Now, 3 days ago, it was Dad's blood pressure. Yesterday, you're tearing this family apart. The guilt trip I once drowned in is now just static. White noise. The doorbell rings. I peer through the peephole. Uncle Greg, his balding scalp shining, plastered with a false smile. His Cadillac idles in my driveway, engine running like he's not planning to stay long. Hallie, sweetheart, he coos through the door. Let's be reasonable. Your parents are worried sick. Just sign the papers. Let this go. I don't move. Don't answer. 10 minutes of knocking later, he gives up, wedging his business card into the doorframe. Scribbled across the back, your parents raised you better than this. I laugh under my breath, bitter and sharp. Raised me better? They raised me to be a sacrifice. Scrolling Facebook later, bile rises in my throat. Mom's newest post, praying for parents dealing with ungrateful children. Mental health issues can tear families apart. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time. 50-7 comments already. Stay strong, Diane from her book club. What happened with Hallie? From those who actually know me. My finger hovers over reply. but I stop. No, they've owned the narrative my whole life. This time, I'll let the truth speak in ways they can't spin. Morning light streams through the bare bedroom window. I lay out my clothes, not scrubs, not exhaustion's uniform. A crisp white blouse, navy slacks, and grandma's pearl earrings. Professional, authoritative. The mirror reflects someone new. Shoulders squared, chin lifted, eyes clear with purpose. At the title office, the air smells of copy paper and burnt coffee. And I walk in not as the daughter they tried to erase, but as the legal owner of everything they thought they'd stolen. Asterisk, the receptionist's eyes widen the moment I give my name. Miss Cruz. We weren't expecting you until 10. I like to be early. My voice sounds steadier than my pulse, but that's the point. Inside, Mr. Abernathy greets me with a firm handshake. His office walls are cluttered with family photos and fishing trophies. The kind of life my father pretended to have under control. I've reviewed your documentation, he says, gesturing to the folder on his desk. The quitclaim deed is solid. Your payment records are meticulous. I've learned to keep receipts, I reply, allowing the smallest smirk. He studies me for a beat. Most people twice your age aren't this prepared. Necessity is an excellent teacher. The printer hums, spitting out the document I've fought for months to secure. Abernathy slides it across the desk. This confirms it, Miss Cruz. You are the sole legal homeowner. The attempted sale has been voided. My fingertips tingle as they brush the paper. Mine. Finally, mine. But Abernathy clears his throat. Your parents requested a conference call. They've been insistent. Of course they have. The speakerphone crackles to life mid-rant. Completely unreasonable. We raised her, gave her a roof. Mr. Cruz, Abernathy cuts in. Your daughter is here. You're on speaker. Silence. Then Mom's voice, trembling with rehearsed fragility. Howie, sweetheart. How could you do this to us? After everything we've sacrificed? Mrs. Cruz, Abernathy interjects, tone cool. The records are clear. Your daughter paid $325,000 to save the property. You and your husband signed a quitclaim deed transferring ownership. She tricked us. Dad roars. She said it was refinancing paperwork. Abernathy's voice hardens. The document is properly notarized and bears your signatures. There's no ambiguity. This is absurd. We'll sue. I lean toward the speaker, my voice calm, almost tender. On what grounds, Dad? The house is mine. The sale is void. You left me with nothing but walls. Mom's sobs pour through the line, the same weapon she's used all my life. But Abernathy doesn't even flinch, just slides a box of tissues toward me. This conversation is over, I say, pressing the button to end the call. And just like that, the war shifts. That evening, Jennifer falls into step beside me in the hospital corridor. The cavalry's coming at 6, she announces. Mike's bringing a truck. Emma's got a couch. I've got kitchen stuff. I blink hard, my throat tight. You don't have to stop. She bumps my shoulder. You do the same. By sunset, my living room isn't empty anymore. It's mismatched. Sure, a forest green couch, a scratched coffee table, chairs that don't match, but it's alive. More alive than it ever was under them. Mrs. Patterson appears at my door with a cardboard box. I borrowed these for safekeeping, she says, handing me framed family photos. When I saw them loading up, I knew something wasn't right. Later, my phone rings. Whereas voice, shaky but firm. I left Brandon, she blurts. They planned this for months, Holly. He even showed me the messages. I couldn't stay. I'm with my sister now. Listen, I saved the texts. I'll send them to you. I sink onto the couch, stunned. Are you okay? She gives a hollow laugh. Shouldn't I be asking you that? The next day, Dr. Winters catches me between patients. I've approved your request for more shifts, he says. Holiday pay should help rebuild your nest egg. I nod, swallowing back sudden tears. Thank you. After work, I drive to the hardware store. New locks. A deadbolt that clicks into place with the finality of a gavel. Cameras on every entrance. Motion sensors. Control panel by my bedroom. I roll seafoam paint over Brandon's old posters, reclaiming the walls inch by inch. The color reminds me of the Oregon coast quiet, steady mine. The hardest task waits by the fireplace. My parents' wedding portrait has hung there my entire life, the centerpiece of a lie. I take it down gently, wrap it in an old t-shirt, and place it in the attic dot in its place. I hang a photo of the Portland skyline at dawn. Light breaking over a city that nearly crushed me but never did. This house doesn't belong to them anymore. It doesn't even belong to who I used to be, dot. It belongs to me, asterisk. The drive home after another long night shift feels different now. Streetlights blur past, and for the first time in weeks, I don't dread what waits at the end of the road. When I pull into the driveway, the house greets me like a fortress mine. A live, unbroken dot inside. I pause in the doorway, surveying what I've rebuilt. No longer hollow, no longer stolen. Home. My phone buzzes. Brandon. I don't even read the message. Delete. Gone. Lights off. I climb the stairs. Tonight, sleep will come without shadows of empty rooms or stolen futures. Dot at 3 a.m. The buzzing starts again. Once. Twice. Over and over until the screen glows. Like a lighthouse in the dark. Texts. Voicemails. Facebook alerts. Dozens of them. Mom's name fills the screen. I sit up against the headboard and finally open one. The extended stay is $89 a night. We can't afford this much longer. Your father is falling apart. I scroll backward. Complaints about the heat in Texas, the lumpy mattress. Shady people in the parking lot. Not one word about what they did to me. The irony twists into a bitter laugh. Their fantasy of a Texas mansion has dissolved into cigarette-burnt motel carpets. The $450,000 they thought they'd pocket will never exist. They gambled my life and lost. I flip open my laptop. On Facebook, Mom has just posted a glowing sunset picture. Exploring Texas before buying our dream home. Blessed family, new beginnings. The comments pile up. So proud of you guys. Excited for this next chapter. A dozen likes from people who have no idea they're cheering for a lie. Brandon's profile tells the real story. Hopeful updates decaying into desperation. Job market tougher than I thought. Anyone hiring in San Antonio? I close the screen. Let them spin their tailies. Let the lies unravel on their own. Morning light cuts through the new curtains. Today feels different. Today, I stop being quiet in my kitchen. I prop up my phone and take a selfie in my scrubs, standing tall before the freshly painted wall. The caption flows without hesitation. Some things, once earned, can never be taken away. Grateful for this home and the community that stood by me through challenges I never expected. Within minutes, the comments pour in. So proud of you, hi. We always knew your parents were shady about money. Call me if you need anything, sweetheart. The whispers have started, and this time they're on my side. Before leaving for work, I send one email. Subject line, mail forwarding. Dad, I've decided to keep the house. Please forward your new address for any remaining mail. Hi short, final. A blade slipped between ribs. 8 hours later, I returned home to a text from Mara. Brandon got fired. Lied about his experience. They caught him. I typed back, good thing you moved in with your sister. But you could always come back to Portland. She doesn't reply. But I know the seed is planted. That evening, Uncle Greg calls. His voice is heavy-duty strained. They're asking if you'll let them stay in your basement. I can't turn family away, but after what they did. Do what you need to do, Uncle Greg. My voice is steel. He hesitates, then sighs. Your father says there's still a chance to sell the house and split the money. Says everybody wins that way. My laugh is sharp, hollow. That's what I figured. His silence says enough. Finally, your mom's been calling everyone from the old neighborhood. People are starting to talk. Their perfect little image is crumbling in Portland and Texas, everywhere. Later, in the quiet of my kitchen, another voicemail lands. Mom's voice, ragged with desperation. Baby, please. We made a terrible mistake. We just need to come home. Your father can't sleep. Brandon blames us for everything. Please, just call back. Her tears echo through the speaker, but they don't pierce me anymore. I let the knife of silence do what it always does best, because the truth is simple. Their downfall isn't mine to orchestrate anymore, Dot. It's already happening. Asterisk rain lashes the windows, pounding against the glass like impatient fists. Portland storms have a way of stripping everything down to the bone. I sit curled on my second-hand couch, patient charts spread across my lap. When headlights cut across the living room wall, doors slam. 1, 2, 3. I freeze, though my body already knows. Footsteps on the walkway, heavy, familiar. My stomach knots before the doorbell rings. A quick glance at my security app confirms it. My parents and Brandon crowded under one umbrella, soaked and desperate. For a moment, I considered letting them stand there. Let the storm baptize them in the emptiness they left me with. Let them shiver like I did in my stripped-bare house. But I am not the same woman I was 3 months ago. I open the door. Harry, Mom gasps, mascara running in dark streaks. Thank God. We have nowhere else to go. Dad looks smaller than I've ever seen him, shoulders hunched against the rain. Texas didn't work out. Brandon pushes past them, dripping onto my polished hardwood floors. You need to fix this. You broke everything. I don't move. I don't argue. I simply step aside and let them enter not as family, but as trespassers in the house they tried to erase me from. The space feels different now. My furniture. My walls. My silence, Mom whispers, her voice sharp with practiced guilt. After everything we've done for you. But the words slide right off me. The rage that once consumed me has cooled into something sharper. Clarity. Would you like to sit down? I ask evenly, gesturing to the living room. They hesitate, exchanging wary glances, then follow. Dad's eyes dart to the mantel, where their wedding portrait once dominated. A framed copy of my nursing license now holds its place. I sit at the edge of my armchair, posture straight, hands steady. When I was 16, I begin. My voice low but cutting. I crashed Dad's car. Remember? Dad frowns. What is that? You grounded me. Made me work in Uncle Greg's warehouse for 3 months. Said I needed to learn about consequences, responsibility. I lean forward, reaching for the folder on my coffee table. I learned the lesson. And I've kept the records. I spread the papers across the table, bank statements. Highlighted in unforgiving yellow. $78,000. That's what I paid to keep this house afloat. Another $23,000 in credit card debt. Also, you had a roof over your heads. Mom's hand flies to her throat. Harry, we never asked next, I interrupt, pulling out my phone. With a swipe, Facebook fills the screen. Photos of Texas steakhouse dinners, vineyard tours, shopping sprees. Smiles wide, glasses raised, I tilt the phone toward them. Interesting budget choices for a family claiming financial ruin while I was eating. Ramen 5 nights a week. Brandon shifts, jaw tight. He doesn't meet my eyes. The silence thickens, heavy and unrelenting. For the first time in my life, they're the ones squirming, and I don't rush to fill the quiet. Asterisk. The living room hangs heavy with silence, thick as wet wool. I slide one last frame across the table. Inside the glass, a handwritten note, preserved like evidence in a trial. Thanks for fixing our credit, loser. We're moving to Texas with Brandon. Don't call Mom single quotes as handwriting. Dad's sentiment. Their collective farewell gift. Social media isn't real life, Dad mutters. Voice gravelly. No, I say, my tone sharp enough to cut. But this? This is real enough. The note lands like a gavel. Dad swallows, his mask crumbling. We made a mistake. We're sorry. Not sorry you betrayed me. I correct, my voice steady. Sorry you got caught. Sorry your plan failed. I reach for the last document in the folder. A notarized statement, Mara's signature scrawled at the bottom. Brandon's ex had quite a story. Screenshots, timelines, how the three of you plotted for months while I worked double shifts to keep this house standing. Dad's gaze darts to the door like a cornered animal. His voice cracks. You had no right to turn Mara against us. I didn't turn anyone, I snap. You did that yourselves. Mom's crocodile tears dissolve, her face twisting into something raw and ugly. How could you do this to your own mother? Where are we supposed to go? The same place I was supposed to go, I answer coldly. When you emptied my home and tried to sell it out from under me, Brandon surges forward, fingers stabbing the air. You think you're so perfect? You stole our house. I rise, meeting his fury head on. Your house? The house I saved with my money. The house you abandoned when things got hard. That house? His jaw works, but no words come. Outside, I see movement, Mrs. Patterson peering from her window, the Collins family pausing their dog walk. My family's shame, now as public as their betrayal. You'll be fine at the Motel 6 on Powell, I say at last, voice quiet but firm. 3 nights paid in advance. After that, you figure it out? The way I had to. Mom's voice splinters. 3 nights? What are we supposed to? I walk to the door, open it. Rain taps gently on the porch. That's no longer my problem. One by one, they shuffle past me. Brandon scowls. Mom trembles. Dad pauses, the scent of his cologne cutting through the damp air. We're still your parents. Harry, he pleads. Biology doesn't make a family, I reply. Actions do. The door shuts with finality. The security system chirps, sealing them out. Through the window, I watch them retreat down the walkway, 3 silhouettes dissolving into the wet night. I didn't destroy them. I whisper into the quiet. They destroyed themselves. I just stopped saving them, and with that, the weight lifts. 1 year later, sunlight spills across the yard, warm against my skin. My hands press seedlings into rich soil where Dad's rusted grill once stood. Marigolds, zinnias, cosmos dot the garden hums with possibility. Each root claiming the earth the way I've claimed this house. No longer empty. No longer there's only mine. Asterisk, bright, resilient flowers back year after year. You've done well with those double quotes. Mrs. Patterson's voice drifts from across the fence. Once just the neighbor who watered her dahlias, she's become something more. The kind of friend who brings warm bread on Sundays and listens without judgment. You should see inside, I reply, brushing dirt from my knees. The studio's finally finished. What used to be Dad's stale office, 4 walls where he spun schemes that never took shape now breathe sunlight. Clay-stained tables hold mugs and bowls in half-formed states. My hands find peace here, shaping something from nothing. Upstairs, the spare room waits for Lucia, the nursing student I mentor. Her story mirrors mine, talented, but crushed under family obligations. The difference is, she won't face it alone. This time, she has someone in her corner. Mentoring is part of your healing, Dr. Winters likes to remind me. She's right. In therapy, I've learned to name it financial abuse. The words still scrape on the way out, but each week they grow easier. Family isn't always who raised you, she said last session. Sometimes it's who helps you raise yourself at Providence, Portland. My support group of 8 nods in recognition when I share that truth. Survivors learning together how to separate love from exploitation. So when a new member whispers, but their family, I don't flinch anymore. Mara still texts about Brandon. Odd jobs, shared apartments, a restless orbit around failure. My parents split 6 months back, mom in Uncle Greg's basement, dad in a studio apartment. Their Texas dream dissolved like sugar and rain. I feel nothing when I read those updates. Not anger, not triumph. Just distance. The calm of standing on a shore, watching waves I no longer need to swim. The doorbell rings. Jennifer's the first to arrive for my housewarming, her arms full of cider and paper plates. This place looks incredible, she says, taking in walls lined with local art, shelves stacked with journals and pottery books. The polished hardwood gleaming under golden light. One by one, guests trickle in my chosen family. Mrs. Patterson with her blueberry pie. Friends from the pottery classmates with laughter that fills the house where once only my footsteps echoed. Jennifer raises her glass as the sun bleeds amber through the dining room windows. Tahai, who taught us what real strength looks like. Later, after the house has emptied, I sit with a photo album I once couldn't open. Smiling parents. Brandon's graduation. Pictures of a home long gone. Now displayed not as wounds, but as chapters in a larger story. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop saving those who only harm you. The hardest boundaries, I've learned, are what protect the softest hearts. On the porch swing, I cradle the weight of my house keys. Fireflies spark in the dusk. The garden will bloom next spring, and the spring after that. Roots deepening where no one can seed out this house. This life is mine, reclaimed, renewed, at peace.